Hello snowboarders of the internet, I'm your host Avran LeFeber, and in this video we're going to be reviewing the Marhar Lumberjack. This board features Marhar's all mountain powder freestyle camber profile, which is flat through the inserts and then rocker in the tip and the tail. This is going to give you the stability through the middle, but you're going to have a little bit of a looser feel out in the tip and the tail, and that also does actually help with the edge-to-edge power transmission and more optimal powder float. This board is available in 152, 155, and 158. I rode this board at Copper Mountain on a day that was sunny, bluebird. You had blower pow, hot pow, depending on how the sun hit it. You had leftover pow, you had chop, chunder, hero snow, kind of just a mix of everything. And I rode it with my Rome Black Label bindings and my K2 Thraxis boots. So one thing I want you guys to know is this was a sample board and they redid the cores on a lot of their boards this year. So I got that new core and they were still tweaking some things even after I rode it. It is stiffer. It's just a hair past middle of the road and it kind of eliminates some of the torsional flex. Everything I felt with this board that was negative, I've talked to them since and they've actually rectified it, but I want you guys to be aware that it will have a stiffer core still compared to the old reviews of this. So what you do get is a little bit more play in the tips, and that's just accentuated due to the rocker. Stiffer through that midsection, and then the torsional flex has been cut down so you're not able to twist it as much. This just makes it a little more rigid underfoot and a little more stable. Now, going with that stability, you do get some chatter out in the tips, but most of that is dissipated before it hits the insert packs, and what you do feel is next to nothing. So whether you're on a groomer and you're mobbing it or you're in rutted, chopped out terrain, you're really not going to feel anything with this board. It's going to plow through it, and a lot of that is due in part to the width of it. Overall, this board is stable, but it's still lively. It's not damp and lifeless. So one of the cool things about them stiffening up this board is you do get stiffer tips. It still retains that skate style pop that it had, so you just sort of roll back on the tail and it pops and engages. But what you get is more rebound out of it with it being a little stiffer. This is going to help you launch this board. It pops, it boosts. You never have to worry about it. And when it comes to jumps, this thing just sails right off the lip. It just pops at the last minute because, like I said, it's skate style pop, and you can go a little bit deeper and a little bit further with it. So with this board being stiffened up, you can really press into the nose and tail when you're buttering on this board, and it's absolutely beautiful. You've got so much width on this board, and then you've got that flat to rocker, so it works to help you butter better on it. Basically, you get on the nose, you get on the tail, you get sideways, you're swiveling around, you can do anything with it, and then you're going to be able to pop out of it. When it comes to jibbing, you have to use a little more force than the previous models. You'll notice that. So you really want to set it down outside those insert packs and really push into your presses, and it's going to lock in and snap out the end. When you get sideways, it was more of a balancing act than it cradling around, but that should be rectified by the time the production model comes out. They're going to just soften it up a little and give it a little more torsional flex. That will help it cradle around features and not be an issue. Basically, if you know how to jib, you're not going to have a problem with this. If you've got a bigger foot and you want to jib, you're not going to have a problem with it. And that added width really does help it out on features. Now, as I said, I got a sample and they have tweaked the core since I rode this because I gave them some feedback, but this took the hardest hit with them stiffening the core up. It reduced the torsional flex, which changed the ankle steer on it. It just made it a little harder when you were on edge to drive it and steer it right underfoot. I mean, if you were going Mach 10 and laid it over and put all your weight into it, yeah, you were going to carve. But if you were just trying to be subtle and nuanced and do those ankle steering flexion where you're just sort of driving it and doing your thing, it kind of held you back. Now, it isn't the quickest edge to edge just due to the width, and that is very much proportionate based on your boots. I have a size 10, I'm on a 152. This is how I would want it to be. But let's say you're a size 8 and you're on the 152, it's going to be sluggish. Just remember that. That's just how you have to deal with the width of this board. Overall, it can carve, it does lock in underfoot, and I think with that torsional flex added to the actual production model, you're going to be able to rail a carve with it without many problems. Like I said, Not the quickest edge to edge, but you look at the width and that kind of makes sense. Who's this board for? The all mountain freestyle powder lover, someone that wants a board that is wider. So I would like to think I know a thing or two about the Lumberjack. I own 3 of them. And what I noticed with them stiffening this up is you lose some of the playfulness that it was really intended for. If I was 40 pounds heavier, this board would have been an absolute blast, but I wasn't. But I know that all this is being rectified for production. So by the time you see this review, just understand there will be a little bit more torsional flex. It will be a little softer than what I said it was for this review. Overall though, the new profile in the core does give it a little bit more snap, which is nice. You got that skate style snap. And this is a true party board. It's one of those decks that you can ride it for a magnitude of things. It was originally designed to be a wide powder twin, and I personally believe that's what it's absolutely amazing for. But other people ride it as an all mountain twin, and big footed guys just absolutely love it because they can downsize and just have a board that supports them. Overall, it's a fun board for what it is. I just think the sample that they gave me, the core was a little wonky, knowing that they were really quick to rectify that for production. No one should have those issues. And one other thing I want to note is all the boards they sent me were black top sheets. They do custom graphics. They can put your graphic on any model they make, so if you're looking for that, that should be an option with you. They do have their own graphic ones, but just at the time of me getting these boards, they hadn't perfected what they wanted, so I was like, just send me a black top sheet and we'll go from there. And this is what I got, and it works. Comparable boards: the LibTech Golden Orca, the Battalion Party Wave Twin, the Ride Warpig. Binding recommendations: the Rome Katana, the Ride C6, the Union Ultra. This has been my review of the Marhar Lumberjack. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you gonna buy one? Leave me a comment down below. Let's have a conversation about this snowboard. If you're new here, remember to subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the videos we got coming out for all you snowboarders of the internet. And if you really like what we're doing over here and you want to support us further, swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. As always, I've been your host, Avran LeFeber, and I'll see you in another video.